tailgate weather. I think
weather.
that's a new trend. I like that. That's fantastic. It has to be tailgate because this is Kait Parker. I'm Reynolds Wolf. You're watching Saturday morning, AMHQ weekend, and we've got so many things to share with people. Quite a few outdoor events on this Labor Day weekend, and I'll tell you, college football is certainly one of the top.
A Mizzou tailgate, an Auburn tailgate, maybe they're going to be happening. Your favorite teams might have some thunderstorms, though.
Yeah, and that certainly was the case. And for drivers in Orlando, glasses and show you what you can expect. There'll be probably a lot of that happening in parts of, I'd say, Oxford, Mississippi, out by the Grove. They've been known to imbibe a little bit. Pop-up thunderstorms possible there, Kate.
The aroma of stale beer pong in the air.
Yes.
Oh, yes. All the way up into South Bend, where you're going to see the Longhorns take on Notre Dame. And you could see a couple thunderstorms there, but it's very warm, especially for September. That unseasonable warm weather out ahead of our next big front.
Absolutely. You know, one side you have the snowfall. I can't believe we were talking about snow in parts of Montana, but we could see a bit more of that. Also some thunderstorms in the northern plains. Very warm for you in Texas. And then back into New York, easy for me to say, in Boston, beautiful conditions there. Kind of drying and a bit cooler for much of New England.
That's what we've got, that nice little cold front coming in. It's going to be good news for places in the Northeast, but maybe not so much in the Southeast.
I agree with you on that. Hey, in Washington, D.C., 85 degrees. If you take a look at Washington right now, starting off with
right into the forecast in the Southeast. We have thunderstorms in the forecast Saturday night. Those are going to be moving in. Sunday, you have hit or miss storms. This is in Tampa again. Monday, hit or miss storms. So this is the concern here, is that you're going to see more rain on top of the epic August that you had, where you just shattered records for rainfall. Right now, this morning, you've got some offshore. So if you're maybe doing some offshore fishing, or maybe you're going tarpon hunting in the bay, you need to keep an eye out on that. You can now take us with you on your phone, weather.com/TV, and you can watch us on your mobile device. So while you're out there, you can watch us. See how easy that is? You don't even have to leave the TV. Here's what's going on. New Orleans, you've got some rain in the forecast. You can see here along coastal southeast Louisiana, you've got plenty of those thunderstorms. You've got a couple along coastal South Carolina as well. Lots of moisture along the Gulf Coast anticipated for this time of year. Not unusual. You've got that flow coming out of the south, but it's being helped by this high to really drive it in. And then to boot, you've got this low, and this is going to be a trigger for us for these thunderstorms. So we've got the moisture in the atmosphere, but we need something to lift it, create those thunderstorms. That's what that low will do. So your forecast, if you're heading out on 85 today, not too bad when you're in Montgomery, maybe a shower or two, but I got to tell you, if you're over in East Chase today, you better have a big old glass of iced tea from Chick-fil-A, because it is going to be one of those very, very warm days. 97 degrees. Atlanta, thunderstorms in the forecast later this afternoon, similar to what happened yesterday, you know, if you were around. And 85 just in general, hit or miss thunderstorms. Some of those, Reynolds, could be very, very heavy.
Yeah. You're saying that the tea is the way to go. I was going to go for a big tumbler of like hot gravy. That's my speed.
Hot gravy is the best on a 97-degree Montgomery day.
Yeah, rough stuff.
Delicious.
Hey, take a look at this. This is not too delicious.
Okay, so you heard them talk about the heat, and it has been a lot there at the U.S. Open this year.
Yeah, it's been pretty brutal out there, no question about it. We're very fortunate that we've got a great expert with us. We've got Trip Bazin. He's the tennis director at Atlanta's Midtown Athletic. Seasoned professional players.
Yeah, you know, it's really on what they print. So, you know, they have to have their own little remedies of what they do. You know, Andre.
I understand that there's a rule where women get a 10-minute break if the temperature goes beyond a certain point. Is there a reason that doesn't
break? We were talking about how different court surfaces can really make a big difference in terms of dealing with the heat.
In the summer. So clay courts typically are.
So when you look at the forecast.
Folks, we're going to share some with you. We're going to be serving and a volley up of some great weather forecasts and some rough stuff we can do with around the country too.
Hey, what's going on in the tropics? A lot of action this morning. Man, if you're thinking, hey, it's quiet in my part of the world, not in some other spots, these are the circles. I mean, we can barely fit any more on the map. Let's start in the Atlantic, Invest 91L. We've got Tropical Storm Fred. Then we head over the Pacific, Tropical Storm Kevin. And then we've got Invest 98E, Hurricane Jimena, Typhoon Kilo, Post-Tropical Cyclone Ignacio. That is a mouthful. It just means that it no longer has a warm core. But Typhoon Kilo, you're like, what? Wasn't that a hurricane? Just crossed over some borders, changed basins, now in the Westpac. We'll get to that in a second. First, let's talk about Invest 91L, our new area of interest south of the Cape Verde Islands. We've got 35-mile-an-hour winds. This is just south of, remember Fred, where Fred formed. 80% chance of this developing in the next 5 days per the National Hurricane Center. So decent chance of development, but will it or won't it impact the U.S.? It doesn't look like it. Those chances slim. So definitely something that we're going to watch because we always do this time of year. It may seem awful far away, but that's actually a decent breeding ground, an area that we watch. That monsoonal trough combined with the ITCZ is really what we watch for development this time of year, this kind of little belt here. So heading toward the Leeward Islands, maybe a possibility, one computer model bringing it forward. But again, that's one solution and it's several days out. So we'll bring you updates on that around the clock here on the Weather Channel. Hey, how about post-tropical cyclone Ignacio? You're looking at this and you're like, hey, that looks still like a decent swirl. That's going to head toward Alaska. Yep, coastal Alaska. You might be seeing some impacts from that post-tropical system. Hurricane Jimena is still near the Hawaiian Islands. Then we've got Typhoon Kilo. Kilo has been wandering out to sea for so long. It has actually crossed over into the Westpac from the Central Pacific. Just insane there. First, let's talk about Jimena because it does have some impacts on Hawaii. 85-mile-an-hour winds right now, but it's going to encounter very strong wind shear that is north of the islands and much cooler water temperatures as it curves back on down south. The western islands, so Kauai, Oahu, you could see some tropical depression type of characteristics. Waves going to be something that you watch out for on the north shores, the east shores, but it is nothing compared to like what you see during the winter. It's just some summer swell. So some good news for some surfers. How about Typhoon Kilo? This one is just fascinating. The last little scans here on our satellite imagery actually looking pretty good. 90-mile-an-hour winds right now, but look at where Kilo formed south of Hawaii back on August 20th. It is still alive, still going strong, could move toward Japan in the coming days. So just mind-blowing. Will it beat John for the longest lived storm? Still has yet to be seen. We'll let you know. All right, when it comes to summer,